Don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you.
Hello, and welcome to the famous bar, deep inside the keep of the Kingdom of the Geek, or the very pretentious name we have for the house we own. Once again, coming here to rant about stuff on top of my head, or inside my head, because quarantine sucks. Not that I'm actually quarantined, I actually have to get up and go to work and interact with publics, with people who can't wear their masks or can't wear their mask correct. It's not really quarantine, it's just insanity. This video is brought to you by random articles that show up in my Facebook feed that I don't particularly read, but I don't like the headline. Although this one was, there have been several headlines because I've actually been looking for the original article and I can't really seem to find it, but it seems this has been something that a lot of people have talked about since it's happened. And I'm about to step in to the cultural minefield that the Star Wars franchise has become. Yes, I said that. Cultural minefield. People don't know how to pick up after yourself and need to stop it. You hear me? So, the thing I want to talk about is basically the one movie everybody seems to bash more than maybe they should, and that is Solo. And this is like, and what I mean by they, I mean Disney. I've seen several, looking for the original article, I found several where a lot of them have been, Disney basically admits to making a mistake of putting out the Star Wars, Star Wars. That's a Freudian slip right there. Putting out the Solo movie like they did. And they want to blame the movie itself for its shortcomings. Now, in the scheme of things, I didn't hate Solo. I actually enjoyed it. It was exactly what I would expect from a story about the rogue smuggler. It was a heist movie. And I think a good movie, especially when you look at good science fiction movies or put down my remote. And I've seen this in the Marvel films too, because the ones that I find that have been the best are the ones that you can tell are not just comic book movies, but if you strip away the costumes and the silly names, in essence you have a certain kind of genre movie. The Dark Knight does the same thing. You take away the cowl and the makeup, and you have a really good, terrorist terrorizing a city and a cop that has to deal with it movie. Something along like a Heat. Captain America: Winter Soldier is a Jason Bourne movie. Just Jason Bourne now has a shield. And that's what Solo is basically guy who wants to better his situation through basically crime, joins up and kind of gets involved with what a little deeper than what he thought he was. And you basically realize, the whole idea that he's a scoundrel, but he's a scoundrel with a heart because he had the heart to begin with. I also liked the movie because it was messing with stuff they had set up in like the Star Wars, the cartoon world that is also canon, the Clone Wars and Rebels, with the whole reveal at the end. So I enjoyed it, and to give you an idea where I'm coming from, I saw Star Wars when I was 12. Well, actually, I was younger than that, because Star Wars came out in 1977. And a secret I don't think most people know, I did not get to see Star Wars until February of 1978. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, especially some of you younger folks. There was a time that if you wanted to see a movie, you had to leave your house, go find a building called a theater. I don't know how late in the future you're seeing this, because the way things are going, those may be disappearing sooner than we think. And see that movie. Now, if it was a dud, that sucker was gone by Monday. And I know of at least one movie called, I want to say it was like Great White. It was a straight up Jaws ripoff. It lasted a weekend. It was gone by Monday afternoon. And usually even the most terrible movies at least have till Thursday when the new movies had come in, and you could, because I have sat in a movie theater for a movie, now I can't even remember that title, about a reporter dealing with Mormons in a water issue. By myself on a Thursday evening, because I was waiting for my girlfriend to get off, because she worked at a movie theater. So, and they would basically, movies could stay in the theater. But what would happen is you'd have the first run movie, and that would last for a while. The more popular it was, the more it would stay. In fact, you would read in the newspaper, held over 5 weeks, held over 10 weeks. It would stay in the theater that much because it was making that much more money. And this is the time where there was no cable. There was no VCR, there was no DVD, there was no streaming. You couldn't walk into your house, turn your TV on, and hey, look, there's a list of movies you can watch without leaving your couch, and you can pause it when your bladder is filled because you bought a 150-gallon drum of soda for $20. So then it would start trickling down into like the cheaper theaters. So that's how I got to see Star Wars 9 months after it had been initially released, because it was still in theaters. It had gone down to some of the smaller, it had gone down to some of the smaller theaters. The trivia, the theater that I actually originally saw Star Wars in for the very first time is now a porn theater where couples can see it free. Gee, I wonder why. And to give you an idea give you the scale. Some people don't understand the scale of how popular Star Wars was when it came out. Because you've seen the pictures of it at the Chinese theater in LA with the long lines. You may have seen lines. Even after it hit the 99-cent theater near my house, which is now a Staples, there was still a line to get in that movie. Not just to get in, to buy the ticket. And at that point, you might not get in. You could stand in line and it could sell out while you're in it. These were dark times, my friends, In the line, you had to stand in line to go see a movie. You had to push your car with your feet. Your elephant might break down while you're vacuuming. It was dark, dark times. And we didn't have, people are lucky now because you have access to a plethora of Star Wars stuff. There's a reason why there's a Star Wars holiday special. And that's because we needed Star Wars. Maybe we didn't need that, but Jesus Christ. I think the web slave actually still holds a grudge against me about making her watch that.
You better believe it.
That was funny. Again, a kid. I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw it as an adult. Jesus Christ. Grandpa was watching porn in the living room. He had a son named Lumpy. Lumpy. And we ate that shit up. Although it did give us a cartoon where we first saw Boba Fett. So, there is some redeeming factors. Yeah, we had the movies. We had a couple of novels. Splinter of the Mind's Eye. I think when I got to military school, that's when some of like the Solo books, like Han Solo and the Lando books, when they first started coming out. We had a Star Wars comic book by Marvel that did a redo of the Magnificent Seven with a Don Quixote-esque rabbit Jedi. I need that pause for you to think of that, and you can Google it. I want to say it's the first couple episodes after the first 6, which were the movie. Jesus Christ, I'm getting old. So I can see why Disney was pushing stuff out, especially because you think about it. After the prequels, we didn't think we were going to get any more Star Wars. I think Lucas may have mentioned, and he has talked after he sold Disney that he had ideas for it, but I don't know if his ideas would have been any better. See, honestly, to tell you the truth, and I'm coming from, again, as I said all that stuff, I have enjoyed most of what the Disney product has come out. I enjoyed Force Awakens, even though I think Rey is a little more powerful than. I don't want to say Mary Sue, because Mary Sue basically is an indication that you're making that you're inserting. It's part of it. Part of the idea of Mary Sue is that the writer is putting themselves into the story. Wesley Crusher is a Mary Sue. And Roddenberry basically admitted it. So, Rey just seemed to be. They didn't put nearly as enough obstacles in her way as they did Luke. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that part. But I enjoyed Force Awakens for what it was doing. I think JJ was trying to give the new generation a new hope. And I'm only using that because. Now, they're giving them their Star Wars. And I mean Star Wars, the first movie, it was not called New Hope when it came out. It was called Star Wars. That's why they had to do Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. So they were giving a new generation their version of Star Wars, even though it seemed like they were, oh, you're just rehashing the original Star Wars, you're just, and it's like, to a point, yes, but it felt like the original Star Wars. It was using practical sets. It was trying to give you that definition of good and evil. I really enjoyed the relationship between Poe and Finn. Guys who bonded over going through some shit, and that's how they came together. I liked Rogue One. I liked seeing something outside of the Skywalker storyline, seeing people who were also involved in the thing, and the sheer fact that what happens to them is unfortunately the case of a war. I mean, you even get you get an idea that was happening on a regular basis in Jedi when the woman says many Bothams have died to get us this information. It's, these people have laid their lives on the line to stop what's going on. And Rogue One basically got to say, here they are. These are the people who died. These are the mini Bothams, even though that was a different setup. But here are some Bothams. They dead. I enjoyed Solo for what it was. The only one I have not enjoyed, and I really lay that at the feet of the director, that was the Last Jedi. I think it was muddled, too much story, kind of like trying to shove too much into one movie, kind of like what they did with Spider-Man 3. Um, you'd get invested in the Luke and Ray storyline, and all of a sudden you're on a planet and talking about animals and rich people. Didn't really need it. Even my dumbass could come up with a better way of doing the storyline about how they were able to keep up with them and track them through hyperspace without having to go with the rich people bad storyline it seemed like they were trying to shove in. And then there's also having to read books and play video games to get the entire story. I think was bad, especially since you do have a part of the audience that is like, they're not going to go and play the DLC to Battlefront 2, and they're not going to go get the Leia book to learn who, Vice Admiral Wild at Heart is. If you know who the actress is, you can find out what the movie that is. But then I can see how other people could like it, and I'm not going to bash anybody who did like it. I didn't like it. If you enjoyed it, fantastic. You got enjoyment out of something. There's shit that I like that people don't. I mean, I actually enjoyed Howard the Duck, and I know I could get hung for that one. So, and I think what I'm trying to get to is there's more to, I think, the failure, quote unquote, of Solo lays more at the feet of the company than it does at the movie. People talk about Star Wars fatigue. Well, you also look at what it was put up against when it came out. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best advertising budget. It didn't seem like it was really being. It's like at some point, some of the backlash Last Jedi made Disney go, well, maybe we shouldn't tell these people this movie's coming out, instead of just going, well, maybe we shouldn't put this movie out. So I think a lot of it. I'm trying. People, and kind of, I know a lot of you out there did enjoy this movie, and I think the fact that Disney is trying to make this the scapegoat of why we may not get some Star Wars stories in the future. And I think that's a shortcoming to that movie and to the actors and everybody that worked on it. I think the guy who played Solo did a job. He probably had the biggest boots to fill that ever had to have been filled, because you're basically walking into one of the most iconic characters in cinema, and you're playing, doing that. I think Danny Glover did. Sorry, probably got his name wrong, but Lando, fantastic performance. I liked Woody Harrison, but he can be a fun actor to watch. Again, it was kind of nice to see the how Han and Chewie met. A lot of, there were some people that was like, why did we need this movie? No, we didn't need this movie. No, we don't need any of these movies. Want some of these movies. Enjoy the movies that I see. But I think putting too much emphasis on this. If you enjoyed Solo, enjoy it. I think I'm getting to the point where I'm just trying to stay away from some of these articles about what's going on. One of the things we're trying to do here at Kinky and the Geek is try to stay away from the more negative. There's enough. If you wanna watch videos on how Disney has destroyed Star Wars and destroyed the Marvel universe, or and basically how Hollywood is raping our childhood and burning it in effigy and doing all this stuff. Now, I may have some thoughts on reboots and remakes and re-whatevers and stuff, but I'll maybe save that for a later date. Go enjoy stuff. So, I'm going to go back to watching the Great British Bake Off, which has to be the sweetest, nicest, kindest thing that has ever been put on television. And if you are not watching it, watch it, embrace it, make it your whoopee. And I stare at you again. Until next time, this is the Geek telling you to be good or to be good at it.